Our planet is a tapestry woven with countless threads of life, each species playing its part in a grand, interconnected story. But one species, Homo sapiens, developed a unique and profoundly transformative relationship with others. It is a story not of conquest but of connection, a tale of how we, through patience, observation and necessity, invited the wild into our world and, in doing so, changed the course of our own history and theirs forever. This is the story of domestication, a remarkable journey that began tens of thousands of years ago around a flickering campfire and continues to this day in our homes, on our farms and across our landscapes. Hello, my name is Chelly, and for as long as I can remember I have been fascinated by the bonds we share with the animal kingdom. These relationships are so deeply embedded in our daily lives that we often take them for granted. The dog that greets us at the door, the milk in our morning coffee, the wool in our winter sweaters, each is a testament to an ancient pact made between our ancestors and the creatures that roamed the earth alongside them. It's a pact that has shaped civilizations, fueled exploration, and provided comfort and companionship through the ages. Today we will journey back in time to witness the very beginnings of this extraordinary partnership. We will explore how cunning hunters, wary grazers, and even tiny insects were gradually brought into the human fold. We will see how, through a delicate dance of mutual benefit and selective breeding, we have sculpted the animal kingdom to meet our needs, creating a world where wildness and civilization are inextricably linked. Join me as we uncover the incredible story of how humans tamed the animal kingdom. In the depths of the last ice age, humans and grey wolves were rivals, both hunting the frozen tundra for survival. But at the edge of ancient camps, a fragile truce began. Bold wolves, drawn by scraps, lingered near humans, and over generations trust slowly grew. Some wolves learned to read human gestures, watching for signs of food or danger. Their keen senses made them valuable allies in the harsh wilderness. Humans tolerated the friendlier wolves, who in turn warned of danger and helped in the hunt. This partnership marked the beginning of a unique relationship between two species. Over time, these wolves changed, skulls softened, tails wagged, and bonds deepened. The wild wolf became the dog, our first and most loyal companion. As the ice retreated and humanity embraced a new, settled way of life, our relationship with the animal kingdom entered a new phase. The hunter-gatherer's path gave way to the farmer's field, and with this shift came a need for a more reliable source of food and materials. No longer content to simply hunt, our ancestors began to manage and control entire herds of animals, a process that would give rise to livestock and revolutionize human civilization. The first candidates for this new kind of domestication were the herd animals of the Fertile Crescent, wild sheep, goats and aurochs, the formidable ancestors of modern cattle. These creatures possessed key traits that made them suitable for the task. They lived in social groups with clear dominance hierarchies, a structure humans could co-opt, effectively replacing the lead animal and taking control of the herd's movements and destiny. The process began with a shift from indiscriminate hunting to a more managed approach. Early farmers would have targeted specific animals, perhaps sparing the younger females and tamer individuals to allow the herd to replenish itself. This was a form of proto-herding, a conscious effort to sustain their food source. Over time, this management became more intensive, with herds being guided to better pastures and protected from natural predators. For sheep and goats, the transition was relatively smooth. They were naturally docile grazers, adaptable to a wide range of environments. Initially valued for their meat, humans soon discovered their other gifts. The thick, shaggy coat of a wild sheep, once a mere byproduct, was found to be a remarkable insulator. Through selective breeding for softer, longer fibers, we transformed their protective fleece into wool, a material that would clothe entire civilizations. The domestication of cattle was a far more daunting prospect. Their ancestor, the auroch, was a massive, aggressive beast with fearsome horns standing nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Taming such an animal required immense courage and patience. Yet the rewards were equally immense. A single auroch provided a vast quantity of meat, and its hide could be used for shelter and clothing. The true revolution, however, came with the discovery of milk. This secondary products revolution was a turning point. Instead of a one-time source of meat, cattle, sheep and goats became a renewable resource. They provided a steady supply of milk which could be turned into cheese and yogurt, offering vital nutrition. This created a stable food supply, allowing human populations to grow and settlements to flourish. The farm animal was no longer just a walking meal, but a living, breathing factory of sustenance. Alongside these grazers, another important creature entered the agricultural fold: the pig. Descended from the wild boar, pigs were not herders, but opportunistic omnivores. They were perfectly suited to village life, consuming scraps, leftovers, and forest forage that humans couldn't eat. They were a highly efficient means of converting waste into valuable high-fat meat, an essential part of the agricultural ecosystem. And let us not forget the feathered additions to the farm. The red jungle fowl of Southeast Asia, a shy forest bird, was first drawn to human settlements by scattered grains. Valued initially perhaps for cockfighting, its true potential was soon realized. Through centuries of breeding, this wary bird was transformed into the domestic chicken, a prolific provider of both meat and, most importantly, a daily supply of nutritious eggs, a perfect package of protein. This new proximity had a profound effect on the animals themselves. They became smaller, more docile, and more dependent on humans for their survival. Their wild instincts were blunted, replaced by a learned tolerance for confinement and handling. Their very bodies were reshaped by our needs. Sheep grew continuously, growing fleece. Cows developed larger udders. And chickens began to lay eggs almost daily, far beyond what their wild ancestors ever would. The farm was now a living testament to human ingenuity. While some animals were being molded for food and labor, another group forged a different kind of alliance with us, one born of shared spaces and a common enemy. The rise of agriculture, with its vast granaries and food stores, created an unintended paradise for a host of unwelcome guests: mice, rats, and other vermin. This new problem required a new kind of solution, and it arrived on silent, padded feet. The Near Eastern wildcat, a solitary and fiercely independent hunter, began to notice this abundance of prey. Much like the wolf before it, the cat entered into a commensal relationship with humans. It was not tamed or captured, but rather it chose to live alongside us. Farmers would have quickly recognized the benefit of having these efficient predators patrolling their grain stores. A silent pact was formed. The cats were given safe harbor and a reliable food source, and in return, they kept the rodent population in check. This relationship was unique. Unlike dogs or livestock, cats retained a significant degree of their wild independence. They were not bred for obedience or specific tasks in the same way. Their value lay precisely in their untamed hunting instinct. For thousands of years, their domestication was a process of self-selection. The cats that were most tolerant of human presence thrived, passing this trait to their offspring, but they remained, for the most part, our partners, not our subjects. It was in ancient Egypt that the cat's status was elevated from mere pest controller to revered deity. They were associated with the goddess Bastet and were cherished as symbols of grace, fertility, and protection. To harm a cat was a grave crime. This cultural reverence cemented their place in the human household, transforming them from working animals into beloved companions, a role they continue to hold with regal poise to this day. Other small predators were also enlisted in the war on vermin. The ferret, a domesticated descendant of the European polecat, was tamed over 2,000 years ago. Its slender, flexible body made it an expert at ferreting, driving rabbits from their warrens and rodents from their burrows. Unlike the cat's passive partnership, ferrets were actively trained and handled by humans, becoming a specialized tool for pest control and hunting. Not all small domesticates were predators. The European rabbit, originally farmed by the Romans in walled enclosures called leperaria, was later fully domesticated by French monks in the Middle Ages. They were an easily managed source of low-fat meat and fur. It was only much later, particularly in the Victorian era, that selective breeding for appearance and temperament turned them into the popular household pets we know today. Perhaps the most surprising journey is that of the fancy rat. For centuries, the brown rat was reviled as a carrier of disease and a destroyer of property. But in 19th century England, a subculture of rat catchers began to selectively breed rats for unusual coat colors. This practice, initially a hobby, revealed the species' remarkable intelligence and capacity for affection. the feared pest was transformed into a clean, gentle, and trainable companion. This diverse group of animals illustrates a different facet of domestication. They were not grand beasts that could pull plows or feed armies, but smaller creatures that filled specific niches in our expanding world. They were our allies in protecting our resources, slipping into the spaces between the floorboards and the granary walls to defend our hard-won harvests from the relentless nibbling of unseen thieves. From the aloof elegance of the cat to the playful curiosity of the ferret and the gentle nature of the rabbit, these animals show that the path to domestication is not a single road. It is a network of branching trails, some forged by mutual convenience, others by deliberate human intervention, and some by the simple desire for companionship, for a small, warm presence to share our homes and our lives. Over time, these animals not only adapted to our environments, but also shaped our daily routines and cultural practices in subtle ways. The presence of these companions has been shown to reduce human stress and foster emotional bonds, benefits that go far beyond their original utilitarian roles. Even today, our relationships with these silent hunters and humble companions continue to evolve, reflecting the ever-changing tapestry of human society. The domestication of animals secured our food and homes, but to build cities and connect cultures, we needed power. Living engines, horses, camels, donkeys, and llamas became the engines that moved people, goods, and ideas across continents. The horse, first tamed on the Central Asian steppes, gave us speed and mobility, transforming travel, warfare, and trade. Camels, perfectly adapted to deserts, connected distant markets along the Silk Road. Donkeys and llamas carried loads through mountains and cities, becoming the backbone of local trade. These animals ploughed fields, hauled goods, and built civilizations, our partners and engines for thousands of years. Harnessing animal power also led to innovations like the plough and the wheel, revolutionizing agriculture and transport. With their help, cities flourished and trade networks expanded, linking distant civilizations. Even today, in many parts of the world, animals remain vital partners in daily life and work. Humanity has long partnered with birds and insects, seeking not just food, but communication, luxury, and sweetness. Ducks, geese, and turkeys joined chickens in our farms, while pigeons became messengers carrying vital news across great distances. Our oldest insect partners, honey bees, gave us honey and pollination, foundations of agriculture. Silkworms, bred for their shimmering thread, brought luxury to the world. These small creatures, through subtle partnerships, have woven themselves into the fabric of civilization, proving their lasting impact. Our journey through the story of domestication has taken us from the campfire to the farm, from the battlefield to the trade route. We've seen animals shaped for work, for food, and for companionship. But there is one final, fascinating chapter, the domestication of animals purely for their beauty. This is the story of ornamental animals, creatures bred not for utility, but for the simple pleasure of watching them, for their role as living art. This practice finds its most famous origins in ancient China with a rather humble fish, the common carp. For centuries, carp were raised in ponds as a source of food, but occasionally a natural genetic mutation would produce an individual with a splash of red or gold, a vibrant anomaly among its drab relatives. Instead of being eaten, these unusual fish were spared and treasured for their unique appearance. Tang Dynasty officials began to selectively breed these colorful carp, keeping them in ornamental ponds in their gardens. They selected for the brightest colors, gold, orange, and yellow, and over generations they began to isolate and enhance these traits. This was the birth of the goldfish. It was an animal with no practical purpose. Its sole function was to be beautiful, a shimmering jewel swimming in the tranquil waters of a scholar's garden. The process intensified during the Song Dynasty. Breeding became more sophisticated, with enthusiasts selecting not just for color but also for new and exotic body shapes. They cultivated fish with flowing, delicate fins, rounded bodies, and unusual features like protruding eyes. This led to the incredible diversity of fancy goldfish we see today, the fantails, the orandas, the celestial-eyed moors, each a carefully sculpted work of living art. The practice was not confined to China. In nearby Japan, a similar process was unfolding with another variety of carp. Rice farmers in Niigata Prefecture noticed color variations among the common carp they were raising for food in their irrigation ponds. They began to selectively breed these fish, not just for simple color, but for intricate and specific patterns of red, white, and black against a pristine white background. This was the genesis of koi, or nishikigoi, which means brocaded carp. The breeding of koi became a serious and respected art form, with dozens of named varieties, each with strict standards for its patterns and coloration. Koi were judged on their elegance, their poise, and the quality of their markings. They became symbols of luck, prosperity, and perseverance, their graceful movements a source of meditative calm. The domestication of goldfish and koi represents a fundamental shift in the human-animal relationship. For the first time on a large scale, we were breeding animals not to serve our physical needs, but our aesthetic and emotional ones. It was a luxury, a testament to a society that had the time and resources to invest in the creation of beauty for its own sake. This impulse to create living ornaments was not limited to fish. It can be seen in the breeding of fancy pigeons with elaborate feathers, the development of songbirds like the canary for their beautiful voice, and even in the modern world of designer dog breeds, selected for specific looks rather than working ability. It speaks to a deep human desire to shape the world, not just for function, but also for form. And so, our story of domestication comes to a place of quiet contemplation by the side of a peaceful pond. The goldfish and the koi swimming in silent, graceful arcs are a testament to our enduring fascination with the natural world and our irresistible urge to mold it. They are living jewels, born from a simple mutation and refined by centuries of human admiration into a celebration of color, pattern, and form. Our journey has shown us that domestication is not a single event, but a rich and complex tapestry woven over millennia. From the wolf that first dared to approach our ancient fires to the fish bred to be living jewels, our story is inextricably linked with that of the animal kingdom. We have shaped them, and in return, they have profoundly shaped us. They have fed our civilizations, powered our explorations, protected our homes, and filled our lives with companionship and wonder. This is a legacy of coevolution, a testament to an extraordinary and enduring pact between species. The animals we share our world with today are the living result of this long history. The loyal dog, the productive cow, the independent cat, each carries within it the story of its ancestors' journey into the human sphere. This relationship, however, comes with a profound responsibility. As we continue to shape the genetics and futures of these creatures, we must do so with wisdom, compassion, and a deep respect for the lives that are in our care. The bond we have forged is a precious one, deserving of our thoughtful stewardship. The story of domestication is, in many ways, the story of humanity itself. It reflects our ingenuity, our needs, our capacity for nurturing, and even our desire for beauty. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of one of the most significant relationships on our planet. If you found this journey as fascinating as I do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories about our incredible world. The connections we have with animals continue to evolve, and there is always more to learn and to appreciate.